no, I'm saying the answer is in Genesis.
Talking about the gorilla versus the cyborg.
Sure.
Gorilla with chainsaw,
But guys,
excuse me.
how you doing? Welcome to Big Bang Cinema, the first episode of 2019. I'm Isaac, the new shirt Anderson.
I am Tyler. I got this out of the hamper, Keen.
That's more like it. And this is a movie show where we talk about movie news.
Movie reviews.
And everything in between. Thank you guys so much for coming back. So, real quick before we go any further, I think we should mention that Mr. Christopher Darkins will not be joining us very often this season. He will be here every now and then, but unfortunately he had a class during this time, so school comes first. But we thought we might send him off with this beautiful video.
Yeah, we'll always
It's weird
remember.
for you to be up here, man.
I know, right? That's what I was thinking. God rest his soul.
Don't say God rest his soul. Because
I have a question about this.
All right, stop.
If he's a bear, why was he taken to jail?
amen. But for real, Chris, he will be back every now and then. But
But I feel like he's here with us now.
yeah, I mean, it's almost like he's right above us.
He is right
Watching
above.
over us.
Rest in peace, Chris. Hope
I
you
know.
find
He's
peace,
actually in
man.
the classroom right above us. That's why I said that. But anyway, speaking about looking above, Spider-Man is coming out pretty soon later this year. And the new trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home just came out, and it's a doozy.
It's got Gyllenhaal in it.
It's got Gyllenhaal in it. We got to preface it. It's Jake Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal might be like some weird pudding that's over like in the European section.
Or Maggie. You don't want that either.
Maggie, yeah. Well, nobody wants Maggie.
Oh.
Oh, poor Maggie. She was in one really good movie. That was all. But yeah. So
Secretary.
I don't know about that one.
Right.
But Tyler, what did you think about this one?
I thought it was kind of out there.
Okay, what do you mean by why it's so out there?
It's not really like a Spider-Man-ish that I kind of thought. It's weird seeing Spider-Man not in New York. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, well, I get why they probably did this. If you don't know, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, Spider-Man goes to Europe on a class trip, and stuff hits the fan. Nick Fury shows up, even though he disintegrated along with Spider-Man. Spoilers. And now he's fighting big monsters in Europe.
This could have happened before. It could happen.
I think it's confirmed it comes after.
Okay. So my big question is why not New York? That's like having the Ninja Turtles in like, I don't know, ancient Japan. Just a bad idea.
Yeah, well, like I said, I feel like the studio. No, I'm not going which studio. I'm not going to name which one's Sony, but I mean it's totally. I feel like we haven't seen Spider-Man out of his element before. We got to take him to Europe or something. We've seen him in New York. We've never seen him out of here.
Why not Toronto?
Yeah, well,
or Alberta?
That might be a completely different film. It'd just be like...
If you had to take him to another country, like, can you imagine in Mexico trying to swing and all the houses are like this high up?
Just tall?
He's like, boom, just smacks right on the ground.
He would have to kind of like do
Yeah.
back rows. His back would be massive.
And he like tries to deliver pizzas and then he ends up like eating some of it. Then he's got like really bad, like he gets food poisoning. Would that be a good movie, Spider-Man with food poisoning?
That sounds like a boring movie. But yeah, as far as this trailer goes,
He could climb the board.
I wasn't feeling this trailer, I have to say. I feel like Spider-Man, the reason I like Spider-Man as a character is because he deals with like the smaller things and everything. Granted, he's in the Avengers movies and they're kind of a lot bigger and everything. I'll accept that. But I like the fact that Spider-Man is he's in a smaller universe and he doesn't fight all these massive super villains with like 70 feet tall water monster with magic powers and all that.
I have a theory that none of it's real.
Well,
I believe he's just an actor,
okay.
just acting.
Okay, well, I mean...
By that I mean Mysterio.
Okay, Mysterio's causing illusions like that.
Yeah, illusions.
Well, and maybe so. And if that's so, I'd be cool with that. But if it's just like, monsters everywhere, he's got to fight 17 different villains.
And then he teams up with Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, well, I don't want to see the 5 different villain roster that we've seen in all these different movies lately. But, I mean, maybe I'm just getting the wool pulled over my eyes. and maybe this is not really what the movie's going to be. Maybe it's going to be really cool.
Why are they pulling that wallpaper over your eyes, buddy?
Yeah, I know. Maybe Sony isn't really taking the reins on this one as much as I think they have. But also, yeah, Sony didn't have much to say about the trailer because it didn't give much away. And also, Jake Gyllenhaal is playing Mysterio. What do you think about him, real quick, before we go on?
Mysterio's a neat character.
Okay, I think Jake Gyllenhaal is an interesting choice to play him.
Yeah.
I like Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor. I know some people that don't, but I do like him for the most part of some of his roles and everything. I think he can pull something like this off. I just wonder how they're going to treat it.
I believe so too. It'd be real fun if like they do a whole thing about him like sitting on a plane and like getting a layover and like misses it, and it's like 12 hours him walking around a terminal. Yeah, like it's a real travel.
Real travel?
Because he's not taking that start jet anymore.
It's like him waiting in the Cinnabon line for 2 hours.
Yeah, he's like, oh, why am I in line for a Cinnabon? Oh.
And then having to pay $17 for it. Anyway, yeah, that's Spider-Man trailer. Time to go on to Coming America 2.
Coming to America.
Coming to America. I said Coming America. Coming to America. So apparently they're making a second one of these because we need it.
Eddie needs money.
Eddie, that's the title of this movie, is Eddie Needs Money.
Right.
Because Mr. Church didn't cut it.
Yeah, it sure didn't.
So yeah, if you don't know, what is Coming to America to the people?
Have you seen it?
I've seen it.
Well, the difference between a McDonald's and McDowell's is that McDowell's has a salad bar.
Well, to our millennial viewers that have never seen Coming to America, what is Coming to America about?
He's an African prince, and he goes to America, and he decides to. And a lot of it's just a big culture clash because he's used to like high up, just like royal living, and he goes to America, and he thinks it's going to be great there, and it's just he ends up like what Brooklyn or the Bronx, and he just ends up in like he just experiences the average American life, and it's he learns to live with it, and it's just the whole movie is about culture clash.
Yeah, it's
goes to Queens to find a wife.
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away. They're still going to see the movie before they watch this.
Yeah, exactly. It's fish out of water humor. I mean, that's basically what it is. But apparently they've dug this up, and I think
it's also one of the earliest moments that Samuel L. Jackson said MF in it too.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
He robs the McDowells.
He does rob the McDonald's, doesn't he?
And he says MF in it.
Dang. Well, there's a guy, I believe his name is Craig Brewer. I had to write it down because I didn't remember him. He's going to be directing this film. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, he looks like an African prince, doesn't he?
It really gets me too. If the movie coming out would have been a really meme-tastic film, like we spent a lot of memes after this, but it's an older film. You don't see it. You see very few of them. I mean, one of my most memorable parts of the original was the barbershop. And then after you read the credits, like, oh my gosh, everybody in there was Eddie Murphy. It was like the first time he really did the whole Nutty Professor thing.
Do you think Eddie Murphy is comparable to do something like this again? Is it like?
Oh, definitely. Eddie Murphy will play Harvey Weinstein if he was getting a paycheck.
I'm saying, like, do you think that this will be as good as the first one? As
of
far as
course
kind
not.
of like,
of course not.
Well, I mean, of course, like,
of course not.
Let me rephrase that. Obviously, it's not going to be as good as the first one. I think we pretty much already know that. It's going to have to do some crazy things. But do you think Eddie Murphy has the the comparable kind of acting ability now that he will actually pull something like this off, at least in his performance?
Not at all.
Really? Why not?
Because this is going to end up being just like his other trash heap films he's done.
I hope not, because I think it's actually an interesting opportunity to come and do this again, because you can do it more in like the culture we live in today, which is a lot different from the 80s.
I mean, I'm still waiting for the next Axel Foley Beverly Hills Cop movie to come out.
I don't think that'll ever happen.
They were talking about it because Eddie needs money.
Eddie needs money.
I got a feeling it really bad. Really, when the first one came out, he was like, I think he did. Raw had just come out. I think it was before after Raw come out. So he was like the height of his game. This movie come out, everybody's like, oh, let's go see the Eddie Murphy movie, and he had just done Beverly Hills Cops. I mean, he was high up there. I mean, he was the star of the day. So I mean, I feel like his star power back then is really what. It was a funny film, but his star powers really got people to go watch it.
I think it's like if Chris Pratt's in a movie, you're going to go see that movie.
You walk somebody, ask your average 18-year-old who Eddie Murphy is, and you're probably not going to get you're probably going to get like one out of 5 people tell you who he is.
That is true. But overall, I think it's an interesting opportunity to kind of see where you can take this now, but you're going to get a bunch of recycled jokes.
Exactly.
And you're going to get Eddie Murphy doing all his famous catchphrases. But speaking about recycling old things, Ghostbusters is getting a third movie finally.
Oh my goodness.
We've talked about it for years and years and years and years and years, and Bill Murray has turned all of them down. But look, the money's right. So, Jason Reitman, Ivan Reitman's son, is going to be directing a film.
What? I can tell you right now, I'm actually excited for this because it's going to erase the last Ghostbusters film.
Yeah, I believe they had a teaser trailer come out the other day, too. I think we're playing it right behind us now. It doesn't really give a whole lot away.
It looks like that part from, was it Million Ways to Die in the West?
Which part is that? I didn't see that movie.
Oh, well, there's this part where he goes out the building and it's Doc Brown working on the time machine in the building.
Remember Doc Brown? That's the joke. Yeah, I saw that part. Yeah. But all this does is show Ecto-1, and I feel like this is basically like the list. Like, imagine this teaser is Listerine, and the Ghostbusters female version was just like a stinky burrito that you just ate.
Now, I got a question. Who's going to play? Okay, let's pull it back here. It's a well-known fact that Harold Ramis was one of the Ghostbusters. Mm-hmm. And it's a well-known fact now that Harold Ramis is no longer with us. By that, I mean he's actually not with anybody. He's dead right now. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, is it going to be 3 Ghostbusters and you have a replacement Ghostbusters? It's going to be, I'm Harold Ramis' long-lost kid. I'm going to be replacing him.
That would suck so bad. It's like, oh, it's Harold Ramis' kid.
No, I mean, I want to carry my dad's legacy and hunt ghosts.
This is probably what's going to happen. I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking they were going to move on without him.
Well, what chance is it going to be a woman that's going to take over his spot?
Well, because diversity?
Probability.
It's high probability.
High probability.
Dude, I'm amazed how fast they turned on the old Ghostbusters that they literally just made like 2 years ago. Yeah. It's like, oh, we didn't do that. What are you talking about? Oh. No. Don't look in the corner over there. That's all the Blu-rays we didn't sell. But I mean, considering that they got Jason Reitman, who is he directed Juno. He's directed a few other things. He also directed Tully that came out this last year. He's directed a lot of movies. I'm kind of excited about this, I have to say, because Ghostbusters, like just a pure reboot of like a different cast, is not going to work.
Wasn't Harold Ramis one of the writers for it?
Yes, he was. Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd wrote it. Yeah. And Dan Aykroyd actually believes in aliens, and he was like trying to write like an actual like alien thing, and Harold Ramis wanted to do silly stuff, and it was kind of a weird clash. That's another story, but what was I talking about?
Talking about Harold Ramis being dead.
No, that wasn't it.
Yeah, you're right. You're like, well, he's dead now. He's like do you think his ghost is going to show up and they got to capture his ghost?
But
that's what you said.
It wouldn't work as a pure reboot like they did with the Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy one. It doesn't work like that. No. I think it works if you bring the same cast back and they're like a little bit older, they're slubbier.
It's not even the same cast. Just don't make everybody the comic relief.
Yeah, well, if the writing's right, if the chemistry's right, the timing's right, and everything, I think it could work, and it'd be funny to see all like the older Ghostbusters try to be like all the action heroes. It'd be kind of funny, because that's just
Dolph Lundgren should take his spot.
No,
I would think that's hilarious.
He's not schlubby enough. He needs to be schlubby. It's like a Kevin James type of looking guy, not a Kevin James type acting guy. But enough about Ghostbusters 3. I'm excited about it. Anything else to add?
I'll watch it.
Heard that. Speaking about watching it, John Wick 3. This is one of the best news stories on the roster this week. Yeah. John Wick 3 just came out with a trailer, and I don't know, have you seen the trailer?
I am pumped for it. I think I saw it before they even released it.
Oh, wow. Well, they came out with a teaser the other day. Those Russian websites really treating you well, huh?
Yes, sir, they are. No, excuse me, Korean.
Okay, well, John Wick 3 is obviously a sequel to John Wick 2, which was a sequel to John Wick. Mm-hmm. Just thought you might want to know. And basically all this started because John Wick's dog got murdered by some idiot. I believe it was Theon Greyjoy from Game of Thrones.
And they all ended up dead. Everyone died.
Yeah. And John Wick is basically like a big, long story short, John Wick is like just a really awesome, like, assassin type, like, soldier kind of guy.
No. He goes after the assassins. Well, he's the assassin that kills the assassins.
Somebody messed with them, and then he goes on a killing spree, and that's how the movies go.
He's the boogeyman.
Okay, yeah, well,
he's Baba Yaga.
The whole point of these movies is basically just set pieces for Keanu Reeves to like have cool action scenes. Yeah, that's what these movies are. They're his Mission Impossible.
And just be cool in general.
Yeah, and it works too. I mean, he's really, really good in these movies.
Fantastic.
I don't know. What are you looking forward to about John Wick 3?
Okay, what I've heard is they're going to do a spinoff. I heard this is going to introduce a spinoff for a television show it's gonna be about the hotel.
Okay, like where all
The
the
assassins hang out. It's going to be about like assassins in the hotel, and I think what was his name? Ian McShane. He's going to be starring in it. It's
Lance Reddick's going to be in it?
Ian McShane. Did I say his name right?
I don't know. Nobody knows.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean I want to see it, and I mean it's just like I said, it's like a Western Kurosawa type just amalgamation of just awesomeness.
It's just really, really well choreographed action, really well directed action scenes, and a really cool performance by Keanu Reeves.
And I mean, there's not a lot of dialogue to it. I mean, if you go back and read through if you read the script, there's not a lot of dialogue.
No, I'm excited to see this because if you haven't seen the last one, basically he did something. I don't want to spoil the second one for you, but basically he gets kicked out of this organization, and now everyone's after him.
I just want to warn everybody: Ruby Rose is in the film, and
You know, in the second one?
They made her mute so she couldn't act, so that was really well done.
That's a little fun trait that you can see in movies. It's like if someone is not speaking and just like standing around looking
They're terrible actors.
They just can't act.
They
And
can't
so they
act.
made them not have any lines. But guys, thank you so much for watching so far. We really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming back in this new year. You can leave us a comment at facebook.com/studio67ncc. If you want to tell us anything, let me know if you're watching. Let me know if you're not watching. Let me know if you work at the Alamo Draft House, because you're cool guys.
If you're on Tinder, let us know.
Well, I'm sure you can just look on the app and find that out. It gets really awkward when you see people you know on Tinder. But guys, thank you so much for watching. When
And
we
you've
come-
already asked them out in real life.
Yeah, it gets even weirder. But anyway, we're going to be back right after this short commercial break.
When it comes to culinary arts, Nash Community College is here to turn your burning passion for food into a career. Our chefs, with over 70 years of highly qualified industry experience, are here to point you in the right direction, teaching and handing down classical culinary techniques that will improve your skills and help you cut your way into the food industry. Gain invaluable experience, vital to cooking and preparing delicious food, served in a personal and creative environment. To learn more about the Culinary Arts program, visit nashcc.edu.
Wow, what does fluoride do?
Oh, hi. Welcome back
What?
to Big Bang Cinema.
Fluoride makes
I'm-
your teeth strong.
No, it does not. Just look at my teeth. Anyway, guys, I'm Isaac
You just
Anderson.
don't brush. Okay. I'm Tyler.
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 Guys, have you ever had your parents go up to you and say, "We're not mad, we're disappointed"?
And then a big old smack comes right across your face. Yeah, I've had that before.
Well, that's how we felt when we saw a lot of movies this year, which is going to be something that we talk about right now, which is going to be the most disappointing movies of 2018.
Oh, I was madly disappointed this year.
Now, Tyler, I believe you were the one that said you can't really be disappointed if you have no expectations.
Okay, because the movies that were bad this year, I knew they were going to be bad. Well, last year, because I wasn't there with no expectations, and so I was not disappointed because I knew they were going to be bad. Now, there's about 3 to 4 films I came in expecting like at least a passable film, and I was extremely disappointed based on some of the previous work of the crew, the directors, the writers, or even the franchise.
Okay, yeah, I was kind of the same way. We're going to talk about 3 each, and I guess we shouldn't be wasting any time. So, first one, Tyler, why don't you go up first? What was one of the most disappointing movies this year?
To me, it was Jurassic World 2, or what was it called? Jurassic Kingdom, whatever.
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World. Oh.
2.
Jurassic World 2. Jurassic Wild Kingdom. I don't remember.
Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom. That's what it was called.
That's the only poster I could
That's
find.
how disappointed I was.
This is just a random poster. It just says Jurassic World.
See, for me, is Jurassic Park was going down, and they released Jurassic World, which is not a great film, but it's a good film, and you feel like Jurassic World's the franchise is on the up. You're like, oh, they're getting better. Maybe the next one will be even better, and then the sequel come out to be the worst in the entire franchise. It went from being like probably the third or second best to being the sequel being the absolute worst, and I mean terrible. So I come to the expectation expecting the same quality that I had, or even greater quality from the previous. Boy, was I disappointed.
Yeah, I can't say I saw the trailer and I was already like, I don't care. So I mean, I didn't really go into it with like huge expectations, but I think you had a lot more, kind of what you wanted from it.
Oh yeah, man, I read the books. I was spending like book quality again.
Oh dang. Well, Well, one of mine, I actually talked about this last week on A Quick Flicks. This one I was very disappointed about. It was called The Mule. It was a Clint Eastwood film that not a whole lot of people have seen, actually. And basically, if you don't know, I don't want to spoil the movie for you, but The Mule is basically Clint Eastwood plays a 90-year-old man, I believe, named Earl Stone, that loses his flower shop and he winds up running drugs for the cartel in his truck, being the mule, basically taking it from place to place. And he starts making money doing that, and Bradley Cooper's trying to track him down. He's a police officer. Seems like it'd be a really interesting kind of a character study about this guy, and there would also be some cool conflict. The trailer looked like it had some great conflict in it. I believe Andy Garcia played like the big drug kingpin. That was awesome. Michael Pena's in it too. Yeah, the movie's not that. It's really like, it's not a bad movie. And it's not great. It's just kind of like, I expected something really cool, like a Gran Torino-esque kind of film. But in reality, I just got more like The English Patient, like, oh, another scene. Cool. And, I mean, that's really disappointing. Granted, Clint Eastwood's 90 years old, and he's almost 90. So, I mean, maybe some of these movies are not getting really the intensity that they once had. And granted, I didn't want, explosions and things going and plot point every 10 pages in the script. That's not okay. It just felt like it missed opportunity. Every single time, like, oh my goodness, he's going to get caught. Oh, he just rubbed Ben Gay in his hands. Okay. Like, it could have been so much more. And also, the woman that played the granddaughter could not act to save her life. I'm sure she's a fine actress in other things, but yeah, not so great in this one. But yeah, that was very disappointing to me. Tyler, what else did you think was disappointing this year, besides your life?
Oh, that is true. That was really disappointing. I disappointed everybody. Well, Super Troopers 2. I'm a big fan of Super Troopers 1. It's probably one of the big cult comedy classics. And I would say of the Broken Lizard Company, it's probably their biggest hit film.
It was absolutely their biggest film.
And the original was kooky, crazy highway patrol comedy, and then you're expecting it for this one, and it comes out and they're in Canada, and it's lame rehashed jokes. It's everything you've seen from the first one, and even the acting wasn't so great. I mean, it was just like rather than spending all these years getting ready for it, it feels like they got the Kickstarter, and just as soon as they got the money, they just started throwing stuff together.
That's exactly probably what they did.
It was not funny. It just wasn't. It wasn't funny at all.
Yeah, that was one of those movies I fell asleep in. So,
it was boring. I didn't want to talk about it anymore. That's how disappointed I was.
Dang. Yeah, it definitely didn't live up to much at all. But one that I'm just going to go ahead and take mine. One that I was actually like kind of disappointed about too. I didn't have like extreme expectations about this, but I definitely was looking forward to it a lot, and I left kind of feeling not so razzed. Was Incredibles 2. The Incredibles 2, like I said, this is not like a bad movie. But like, man, like it just kind of like, it's so forgettable.
Yeah, I already forgot it came out last year.
No, yeah, I know. It seems kind of like this was like, oh, that happened?
Especially the big impact the first one had.
Yeah, like when we were thinking about what movies to talk about, I'm like, oh yeah, Incredibles 2 did happen. Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot all about it. But doing a little bit more research and reading about the movie that I saw back in June. Yeah, I don't know. The first one was such a tight story. It was such, it's almost like a perfect film. You know what I mean? It's probably the best Pixar film right next to Toy Story. And it's like it was just a really awesome film. It's anybody can watch it and they can get something out of it. And this one just wasn't that. It was just like,
I forgot all about it. I'm not lying.
They tried to do some stuff different, and granted, it took them 15 years to make this one, and they said they wanted to make sure the story is right. Obviously, they didn't get there, but
I remember seeing it, but I don't remember actually watching it. That's the weird part.
I know.
I remember watching Coco, the other Pixar films.
No, we were here this one.
I don't remember sitting. I rember what happens in the movie. I just don't remember sitting down and watching it.
I'm kind of the same way. And see, that's the worst thing I can say about a movie is when something's super bad, it's a lot of fun to watch. When something's really great, it's a lot of fun to watch. When something is kind of in between, that's the worst kind of movie. Okay? So even though this isn't a bad movie, this isn't a great movie, it's probably the worst kind of movie because it's not one you ever want to watch again. And granted, they try to do some things like now they're in the 60s, they're doing this kind of thing, and they try to put the characters in a different place. The new characters I just couldn't care less about. I'm like, ooh, who cares about this person? Well, like, such like a bland story, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even remember half the movie. So, Tyler?
You're right. I remember the main plot points, how it ends. I just don't really remember the middle part.
Yeah, exactly. But Tyler, lastly, what did you think was the most disappointing movie of 2018?
The Predator.
Okay. So are you talking like Weinstein here or like the movie?
Oh, the actual movie.
Oh, okay.
Not the movie that's coming out.
Okay.
The Predator, which, I mean, you had Shane Black directing this film. And Shane Black helped write the original Predator. He was actually in the original Predator. He was one of the actors in it. And if you know Shane Black's work, I mean, you're expecting like Shane Black quality, and then this comes out. So I mean, you come in there with high hopes. You're like, this is going to bring back the franchise. It's going to be Predator all over again, and it's like you're expecting like Arnold Schwarzenegger-ish original film. You're just like your expectations are high up again, and this comes out, and it's like a comedy film. Is it a black comedy? And then it was...
It's a mess is what it is.
It was not good. It was really bad. It was like he tried to throw in some the comedy, the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang comedy in there with a Predator film, and a lot of it was like a lot of adult humor that really didn't land well.
It was like frat boy humor.
It was frat boy humor, and I'm just like, and a lot of miscasting in there, and I'm just...
Yeah, and also like half the movie was like put in a blender.
And then it was just like the plot point was confusing. Apparently, like let's say autism is the next step in evolution, and
yeah, what?
And apparently the whole plot. I'm not lying. I'm not making this up. Predators were there to steal autistic children.
Yeah, that actually did happen in this movie, didn't it?
Yeah, they came there to get autistic DNA.
Okay. Well, yeah, that one definitely, like, now that I think about it, really was extremely disappointing. That went down where it sucked. But lastly, for me, I won't spend too long on it. This is one of the most disappointing for me was Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody, a lot of people hailed that as something really awesome, really great. People like, oh, Bohemian Rhapsody is awesome. And I didn't think so. I thought it was really shallow and kind of really big missed opportunity. And just really just kind of generic by-the-numbers storytelling. And there's nothing unique about it, like besides the fact that Freddie Mercury is him. It just didn't hit me at all. It's like, it just felt so, like, basic. It's like someone read a screenwriting book, and it's like they put all the story elements in there, and they made generic 70s band story, and that's the movie. Like, it just felt so kind of lifeless.
It kind of felt like it came from a perspective of somebody who was lying.
Yes,
that's what it
and
felt
that's
like.
because it did. But guys, thank you so much for watching this. If you guys want to see any of those reviews right there, you can go to facebook.com/Studio67NCC and hear what we said about most of those movies up there. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Next week on Quick Flicks, we are going to be watching Glass, the M. Night Shyamalan-a-thon thing, I think. Hopefully it's good. And also, if you tune in Friday, which is tomorrow, you can watch our review of Aquaman, finally. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Isaac Anderson.
I'm Tyler.
Stay lovely, guys.
Agua muchacho.
Sure.